Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. Thank you for joining us today, and I hope you've had a absolutely brilliant week. We are back with XTC, the Polyhedra Show. I'm joined by, of course, TC. How you going, man?
Great. Nice to meet you guys again.
Awesome, man. Always love having you here. This is the my favorite time of the week when we get to break down some of this stuff and have this conversation. So let's dive right into it, man. Let's talk about what's happened this week in AI. So OpenAI expanded into India, giving ChatGPT Go for free. Is this something altruistic? Maybe a data grab? Reddit has sued Perplexity for data scraping, which might set a new precedent for training AI models. Tencent revealed half of its code is now AI generated. That is pretty substantially hectic. And researchers say the future of AI chips might be powered by light, which is pretty incredible. Huge advancements. But the focus of the chat I want to have with you today, TC, isn't about these headlines. It's about what connects them. So as AI is scaling so quickly at light speed, what's the invisible infrastructure that keeps it verifiable and trustworthy? So let's dive right into it, man. Let's start with the huge headlines we've seen this month. OpenAI giving away ChatGPT Go in India, and obviously everything that I've just mentioned. AWS taking down the internet for a few hours. Pretty fragile. I think all of these stories have one thing in common, which is scale. So we're scaling faster than we can verify. So I want to put this in the context of Expander, man. Like we've obviously announced that we've had some giant leaps and bounds, but let's get back to basics. With Expander, is this about solving the verification bottleneck that's holding AI back?
Right. So we are trying to scale as much as we can to match this race. And Expander is the most powerful tool we have to match the AI scale. And right now, we are introducing it to more and more AI companies and to see whether we can be part of the verifiable AI future. And we are trying our best to actually scale the expander itself so we can plug in our verification easily without any sacrifice on user experience.
Awesome, man. It's obviously like the most, in my opinion, the most important piece of the puzzle that we're missing with this whole acceleration of AI. Obviously, every week there's these new announcements. There's new speed, but the
Mhm.
infrastructure and you know the ways to verify and understand what's going on under the hood seem to be lacking. I will point to ChatGPT putting watermarks on some of their videos and images, which is, come on, that's pretty laughable effort. I'm sure that they're trying, but there's obviously a lot to be done. And yeah, I know that we're putting a lot of resources into it. And I'll get into this what we've achieved there in a minute, but I want to break it down a little bit for everybody. So, as you see it, what's actually been the bottleneck? Is it computation? Is it bandwidth or the architecture of what's being built around verifiability itself?
Of course, it's computation. I mean, architecture-wise, we are not there yet. The algorithm can be dramatically improved, and it's keep changing. So we are not going to improve the architecture until we have some milestone or we have fixed the algorithm itself. I think that's the point. Because if you change it to a dramatically different algorithm, your architecture may be your optimization architecture or what else, it may be invalid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense,
your
man.
yeah, it may waste your time. I call it optimize. Too early optimize. Yeah, it may waste your time.
Yeah. I like that phrase, like optimizing too early. I often talk to our community about this, and I talk to friends about this, that, when you're bringing a product to market, it's one thing to push it out as fast as possible, to iterate, to fail as quickly as possible. But when we're talking about infrastructure, it's a very different, mindset that you have to have, right? And talking to you, as I understand it, it's like, as you've just pointed out, if you build something as architecture, and you build something on top of it, it's far harder to break that down and rebuild the architecture. So we need to build the base as solidly and, as viable for the future as possible, right? Yeah. So,
Well,
okay, sorry, go on.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, like, if AI right now is already running on this, let's call it like shaky infrastructure, what's the timeline that you see it, man? Like, how do we make the next generation provable, auditable, resilient? Are we going to have to keep reiterating, or is there, within, the next, let's say everyone's talking about 2027 as being this huge year. What do you think in terms of compute? And obviously you guys are making huge leaps and bounds with Xpander. If we keep on that trajectory, like, what's your opinion on verifiable and what we can and can't?
Good question. So I've talked to a lot of big model companies, and at the moment, I think the progress should be the following: they are still competing on the model capability, and I think it take 1 or 2 years for them to win the race. For some of them to win the race, and verification stuff always comes after the performance stuff. I mean, they have to optimize their performance to win, to survive. After that, they will look at, well, what about user privacy? What about security stuff? That's always the truth. So we have to admit that, okay, we're doing a very early product, and it will be the future infrastructure or foundation of the AI agent era. I think it takes some time. It takes 2 or 3 years for the regulator and AI companies to just to think about this issue.
Yeah. I think, I completely agree. And based on everything that I've seen, and, obviously history as well, it usually takes some kind of calamity or, some kind of disaster or for this to happen. I mean, we're seeing it right now, as I mentioned before, with, Reddit suing Perplexity. The cracks are already starting to show where, large enterprise is now coming at other enterprise and saying, you've used our data, and there's no real way for them to backtrack that. I'm sure they've got some logs internally, but yeah, as if you extrapolate that out to the individual level, like the individual person doesn't really have much power. And, as we extrapolate that out further into just the next 12 months, the amount of agents that are going to be flooding the field. I'm already seeing so many. I've got, you know, lots of my network of building agents and automating all this stuff for small business. And I'm like, honestly, I'm quite scared. I'm like, you know, they're putting a lot of faith in these agents that I think there's a lot of vectors for attack. So yeah, you know, I think you're right.
I'm
But
quite excited.
I'm excited too, man. I'm excited too, but I'm also cautiously optimistic, right? You know, and it's I have become more so working with you, man. I want to get into Expander a little bit more, because one comment I get a lot is that, you know, we get a very technical, or you speak very technically. I know that's, you know, you're used to talking very technically, man, but I want to like break down Expander a little bit more simply. So let's unpack Expander a little bit. We've recently made the announcement that, you know, we were able to, the team was able to boost throughput from 1 terabyte a second to 6 terabytes a second using FPGA acceleration. I've kind of explained this as going from a 2-lane country road to like a, you know, like a 12-lane superhighway, essentially, right? It's a huge leap. So what does this mean in layman's terms, man?
Well, it just means that, okay, you can get several times of boost in terms of proving time, or in terms of the wait you have to waiting time. You can get, for example, from 6 seconds maybe to 2 or 1 second. Yeah, that's it. FPGA is a very special piece of hardware. It can do a limited number of tasks. I mean, I would like to say. So we are planning to use it to improve the efficiency of proving hashes, which might be interesting for Ethereum community.
Got you. And this improving of Expander, like you've just talked about, you know, the need to improve the algorithm. Is this something that, you know, the team, you and the whole team, is really focused on? I know I'm a part of some groups where I'm seeing a lot of technical chat with some of the biggest names, you know, in the tech space. I don't understand what you guys are talking about, to be honest, but I do see a lot of back and forth and people like really hyped up and excited about it. So is it, you know, with proving, is it about the algorithm and the cryptography field and finding unique ways to speed that up, or is it mainly a hardware issue?
I mean, it's mainly about the algorithm issue. Hardware is interesting, but algorithm right now takes a more. I mean, it's basically a more important issue in the proving or in the zero knowledge proof space. Because different algorithm, think about that. Okay, one algorithm improvement may improve your performance by a factor of 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's still true, but okay. But in traditional space, like CPU design, they are already super optimized. So it's very hard to improve by another factor of 10. But
Mm-hmm.
in this kind of new space, yeah, it's not so well explored. People are still have the opportunity to do that. Yeah.
Got you. I mean, I know that there's a limited amount of experts in this field that are working on this problem. I mean, it's obviously an extremely hard problem to solve. So it does take a certain intelligence and kind of person to be able to do this. Have you seen improvements using AI yet? Like, have you and the community and like, you know, like even our team seen any way of like using AI to improve the algorithm, improve cryptography, or give you like unique ideas? Has it helped at all yet, or is it not there yet?
Well, AI helped a lot in terms of finding existing knowledge, and in terms of writing some code. I haven't seen any new ideas so far.
Right. But it's kind of helped to, I guess, speed up the process of the community to understand different ideas. That's I mean, even that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
so
sure.
so I want to talk about Expander just quickly in human terms, something that we can all relate to, right? So is it
It's
more is it
it's
more
hard
like
for me.
giving I know. That's why I'm trying to break it down, right? So do you think
Sure.
it's more like giving AI, I mean, not a faster brain, but like a more optimized brain? Or is it like giving AI like a body or a nervous system that can prove what it's doing in real time? Which is it more like?
I I don't think it's giving it faster brain. It's more like giving the fingerprint. Well, oh, sorry, you mean expander. Okay. It's like a different race. Or think about this. You have expander compared to other similar ZK algorithms. It's like totally different, more intelligent, more faster, much more faster. You're just comparing it. For example, you're comparing it a horse with a airplane.
Right.
It do the same thing. It moves people from point A to point
Mhm.
B, but the internal mechanism and the speed totally different.
Got you. That's a far better analogy than I came up with, man. Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Um, awesome. So, I mean, basically, Expander is turning verification into something that happens while the AI runs, not after it. You know, like we're not putting the horse
It
before
could
the
be.
cart.
It could be after
Good. Yeah.
it. Yeah.
That's the goal, right? The difference between a black box and I guess like a glass box. Very cool, man. I want to divert a little bit from this conversation, and I want to ask you about this because we've had a lot of community members asking about, polyhedra ID, and I speak to people a lot about this. And for me, the best kind of jumping point is the dead internet theory. So we're going to talk about the other side of trust, which is the human layer, right? So the dead internet theory, for those who don't know, is that the internet gets taken over by more bots than humans, and then that just keeps running to the point that it's so hard to understand or even verify if there's a human in the loop at all, and it's taken over essentially by bots. Some would argue that that's already happened, and that the internet is already dead in some ways. I mean, I look at some feeds, and I think that might be the case. Um, you know, bots and AI comments and fake engagement loops, and people getting very creative with it. So polyhedra ID. I understand that my opinion is this is the best way to solve that problem. It's a way to prove that I'm human without giving any of my identity or any of my data away. Obviously, it's important to have aspects of dialogue and the internet where you can speak your opinion without people knowing who you are. But there's a lot of bots and people are fragmenting people and all of this stuff. So being able to prove someone's real cryptographically without revealing who they are. Why does this matter so much to you, man?
Well, because in the future we need to trace different internet behaviors. Because when something really bad happens, it need to be clear that okay, who is responsible for that. That's very important, but and also simply doing trace is quite easy. Okay, you just reveal everything, but we don't like it. We don't like to reveal your identity while you're just an innocent person, right? So that's why we're looking into this problem. We're using our zero knowledge proof technology or whatever other technologies we can use to solve this problem. We want to make sure that okay, innocent people just can just use the internet as usual, while the regulators can check the internet and find out who is responsible for criminal activities and find out who is responsible for any incident or any kind of conflict. We basically in the future where all of the agents and humans are mixed in the internet, we can keep it a safer place instead of just all kinds of different crimes or internet attacks happening everywhere.
Yeah, man,
Where
100%.
it's just like a transition. Okay, if you look at Bitcoin, initially people think it's very use it in all kinds of criminal behaviors, making Bitcoin very. I mean, the making people think that Bitcoin is maybe a crime tool. But
Hmm.
right now, as it's more regulated, okay, people realize, okay, Bitcoin, good. It's not a criminal tool anymore, and
Yeah, totally.
what we want is we want to do it in the initial phase where people are not using AI and not using or not using your own identity to just commit crimes or commit whatever very bad things. It's all about responsibility and trade and auditability. Yeah.
Totally, man. Yeah, I love it. I think it's like it's such a strong piece and cornerstone again that like not a lot of people are thinking about. And I'm just seeing, I mentioned it before, but like so many of these agencies popping up that are creating agents for businesses, and people are creating, 1,000, different agents to do different things. But I think that's fine. That there's obviously going to be a need to, verify the decision tree there, but also certain things you need to prove that you're a person. And I want to know that I'm interacting with a human. I don't need to know anything else besides that. All I want to know is that I'm like, this is a real person that's giving their opinion. That's all that matters. It's not a bot. It's not somebody who sat there and created 1,000 bots to comment on how much they, disagree with me. It's like, I just want to know that I'm talking to a real human at the end of the day. You don't have to tell me anything else. So I think it's really powerful. And it's something that I really, really love. And I've been thinking about the dead internet theory a lot. And yeah, I thought I wanted to bring that in and get your opinion on that, man. I think but between verifiable AI and decentralized ID or ZK DID, Polyhedra ID is our product, obviously. Maybe that's what saves the internet. Verifiable humans and verifiable machines coexisting.
Mhm.
Let's move on to let's look at the architecture of trust. So when you step back and look at where all of this is heading, um, you know, uh, photonic compute, FPGA acceleration, as you talked about, like cryptographic IDs. What do you think the architecture looks like in 5 years?
Architecture in 5 years.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hard. I would say potential. I would say potential optimizations or potential directions of it in 5 years, maybe. Uh, That gonna be a algorithm, not a whatever. Maybe zero knowledge proof or maybe others that
Hmm.
need to be deployed in 5 years. And we are actually not only working on this zero knowledge proofs, we are also working on other interesting directions too to solve this part. We're trying to be the selected direction, trying to bet on all kinds of possible directions, and in the future, one of them may be selected. So the verifiable infrastructure it will be a fundamental building block in the future internet, where it will be, I think it will be okay, whatever activities, critical activities you do online, it will play a critical role in your activity, for example, payment.
Yeah.
So
man, I love how that you mentioned that. It's something really important that I also like talk to our community about a lot, which is, we've had our heads down. I know that you and directing the team have just been like heads down working. I often say, like, as we've just talked about, the amount of bots, man, like avoid all of the noise and look at the signal. Look at the people who are working on these future problems that need to be solved. Everybody knows that we need to be solved. There's multiple lanes. No one really knows, which lane is going to be the most efficient. But I love that, you said that, we're obviously working on a lot of different lanes, and we're we've got the fastest, obviously, in a few of them, but this is a problem that needs to be solved, and it's something I know you're super passionate about, and you've dedicated your career to doing, and I know you're not going to stop, man. You're going to keep going until this is solved, and we're going to keep working at it until it's solved.
Yeah, we know a lot of people are saying that, okay, we a lot of people say in the community are saying that, well, okay, we abandon the company. No, we are not.
No, exactly. No, man, we are just heads down and focused, because I think that now more than ever, there's more noise than ever.
Yeah.
So it's more important just to put your head down and build. And we put out signal and we show people what we're doing. We show people the advances that you guys are making, and that's where all of our attention is. I think that's a really important point, because obviously there is a lot of like kickback, and I want to reiterate what you said before about the need to build a strong foundation, and that if you don't and you build on it, then it's harder to reiterate. So I know, talking to you and talking to the team, that's obviously a central theme and such an important point of just all of our technical team, all the developers, every one of you guys just working on these problems, and with the broader community, which is a really cool thing to see from my side. But man, we've come up on half an hour. I know that you and the team, again, have got to put your heads down and get into it. So, I'll cut it off. But always great chatting to you, man. Polyhedra ID, Expander. I love what you guys are doing. I loved the update, and I'm looking forward to more, man. But let's jump back on next week and see what happens. We never know what's going to unfold in the next 7 days. So, yeah. So we can jump back on then, and we'll get through it, man. But thanks so much for taking the time again, TC. Always love chatting to you, man. It's such a highlight for my week. You have a great day out there, and I'll chat to you. I'll speak to you probably later and tomorrow. Yeah. But awesome, man. All right, have a great day, and thank you everybody who joined us today. Always appreciate you guys. And if you've got any questions that you want to post, especially the community, always is helping out. Let me know. You can hit me up on Discord. You can join our Discord. You can hit me directly, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. All right, guys, have a beautiful day.
Nice.